Welcome to All-Star Fandom. I'm joined again by this illustrious panel of friends as we talk about Black superheroes for our Black History Month episode. We're going to go around the panel, introduce yourselves. Again, I'm Dion. I'm the host and sort of quarterback of this whole thing. I'm joined today by a guy who you've known and seen on multiple episodes before. Rufus, say hello to the people, man.
Hello to the people.
All right. Rufus, longtime friend. You've seen him in other episodes. You know what he sort of brings to the table on this one. So, next guest, Willie. Willie is another longtime friend, same barber, chopped it up about everything under the sun, superheroes, TV shows, all of that stuff. Willie, introduce yourself to the people, man.
Willie Davidson. I'm back again to defend myself and everything that I say. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Okay. All right. And I'm also being joined by a good friend, Destiny. Again, like I said in the first episode, we got to chopping up about X-Men animated series, and it just went from there. So, Destiny, one more time for the people, introduce yourself.
Hey. Hi. Hello.
So for this episode, we're gonna get into a little two different sort of topics. We talked about how we talked about our favorite Black superheroes and what they meant to us personally. On this one, we're going to do this segment called For the Culture. So we're going to discuss Black comic book superheroes' impact and how important representation is today. We sort of glossed over it a little bit in the past episode, the part one of this episode. But I'm going to start it off again. Rufus started off so well last time. You gave such a concise answer. You were right on point. We're going to shoot for a second time of that. All right, man? I'm just kidding, man. I'm just kidding. But how important today, again, you can use a superhero as an example, just how important is that representation is today when it comes to like seeing Black superheroes on screen, on TV, and within comic books?
So I think for a lot of us, older and younger, it's important to see our faces as superheroes, because growing up, we didn't see a lot of that. You know what I'm saying? Because we were just discussing our favorite, animated series, which is Batman. You didn't see a lot of Black superheroes interacting with Batman.
Yeah, I don't think
we talked about Spider-Man. The first person we saw that was a Black character was, Blade. So I think it's really important that now, they're including a lot of these Black superheroes as the face of superheroes. I mean, Luke Cage, look at Luke Cage and the way he defends Harlem and the way he really does fight for his people in Harlem. I mean, Luke Cage don't give a damn about the rest, he care about Harlem. I don't think people really understand the fact that he was like, he said this in one of the episodes. He's like, man, I don't care what they doing down there.
Right. That was
I'm here for Harlem, And it's good to see a character like that really sticks for his community, sticks up for his community. Another one, I love how T'Challa was before he decided to be all inclusive. I mean, do I like the fact that he was like at the end, like, yeah, let's bring some people in, but it kind of pissed me off because, for the most part, every time we bring somebody in, they come in, try to take our stuff, and we got to fight. And, and then we in turn look like the bad guy, you know what I'm saying? Which happened with the second movie. You know what I'm saying? It was kind of crazy when you think about it. So, I mean... You
were rolling with Killmonger, right?
You make good points.
You want me to say it? Because I got the mask, I got the apron and everything. Look, I really do wish Killmonger and T'Challa could have worked it out.
Same. I think we're all on that point, yeah.
I really wish they could have worked it out and defended Wakanda, together. Mm-hmm. If that makes sense. Because, I agree. I 100% agree with Killmonger and I 100% agree with T'Challa. I know you can't do that. Math don't work. So we talking about comic books right now, so don't none of the math work.
None of it.
That's true.
Great point.
Very true.
But when you say like Killmonger is a little extreme to the point,
yeah, but
I think that's what gets you off of it. His point made sense, but he was willing to go
to the extreme.
That point, yeah.
T'Challa is more political, and let's talk about it. Killmonger is like, nah, I'm done talking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's make something happen. So, But I like the fact that, like I said, we're seeing more black superheroes, and it's letting the children know that, look, you can be more than just this. You can be a superhero. You can save your community. You can be super educated, super smart, and still be, a home person, a wife, a mother, a father. You can still do all these things while being a superhero. I love it.
I mean, and I think you hit right on the point, just sort of finally sort of seeing that representation there. Willie, care to elaborate or react to what Rufus said?
Oh, I definitely agree with what Rufus said. I think right now, the impact can be at an all-time high with technology. Everything is at the touch of a finger. Movies right now, kids watching. I think the movies have a little bit more impact because they're not necessarily reading the comics, but at the same time, I think if you see those characters on the big screen, it'll make you go Google. Because I've done it with several characters. Like, I want to go Google. I want to get the backstory, see what it is. So I think right now is a great time for us to be represented in that light. And to piggyback off what Rufus about, for the culture, for me, the black superhero, I was all about the boots on the ground superhero, the Luke Cages, the Miles, Morales, the ones that are there for the community.
Yeah, their neighborhood superhero, essentially.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we can relate more to that. Now, I like the ones that have gone to do bigger things, but I like the ground level attack the things. And also, I mean, it's good right now. It makes you think, just like the conversation we were just having about Black Panther and Killmonger. I think you got the yin and the yang. I mean, I can see this side, I can see that side, but at the same time, it's for the culture. You can't say you can't have one without the other.
Yeah, and just like in the earlier episode, Destiny's talking about like going to see the movie with the church group, or seeing the people like dressed in African wear and stuff like that. Just all that is like. I mean, again, I'm trying to think of like a time or a movie where it evoked that much of a sense of like, all right, this is for us, So definitely that movie, Black Panther and that character, has sort of helped out. But just a follow-up question. This can be, and Destiny, I'll jump to you in a minute, and anybody can jump in too. What do you think took so long?
Ooh, racism.
All right, that's another episode of All Star. Look, I mean, okay.
Yeah, I think it's the same reason why it literally took until like the Fast and Furious movies for Hollywood to even recognize that, and specifically talking about movies, right? That characters, other than Will Smith, right? The actors of color can sell a movie, not just in America, but overseas, because those international markets matter so much too, right? Especially nowadays. I mean, it took a long time for, I think, people to recognize that diversity pays and sells, and that stories that center Blackness specifically can also be universal. Because you think about it, all like whenever there's a majority Black cast, it gets framed as a Black movie. Yeah. It only gets marketed to us. And so a lot of white people have probably never, even seen, I don't know, like Boys in the Hood or The Best Man, right? Yeah. And these are classic movies and they mean something to our community, but they also tell like a universal story, right? Dealing with the same themes that you have in a Notting Hill or, what have you. But everyone's not being shown those movies. They're not being marketed because they don't think they can relate. And so I think, and I think this segues into what I would say to the original question too, is like why, having Black superheroes front and center is so important is because, media matters, and it changes how we see ourselves. It changes how we see each other, how we relate to one another. And, it can change, it can move the needle forward on a lot of issues. Even things that you wouldn't think that it could, but like even with Black Panther, you're having conversations about like being oppressed, and how does one, climb above that, and how do you help others, and what are the different methods and ways, and being able to have that debate. Again, like I said, it's great that those are debates that we have, and I love seeing that, but it's kind of cool to see other communities also think about that. And they probably had never even
had before
had that conversation before, or thought about that. And the fact that a white person who had never thought about race left that movie, was like, longer made a good point, knowing that happened at least once, that means something, and that person maybe it opened that person's mind, and maybe, like Willie said, they went and read comics, and maybe they read a book
or something,
right, an actual text, a history text, perhaps, maybe got them interested in other real world topics too. You just never know. But yeah, it matters, like media matters, and seeing ourselves represented in a full way, it matters.
And I think another reason is they didn't think it would equate to dollars. They didn't think
that was a big thing.
Black face could make that much money, or make the money back from what they spent on the movie. When you think about it, I mean, what black movie made $1 billion?
I mean, kind of Fast and Furious. Vin Diesel technically black.
Is it okay? When you okay? Time out. Now, when she said Fast and Furious movies, I was like, okay, Ludacris, Tyrese, The Rock's half black and like Polynesian or something.
Vin Diesel's half black.
Is he really?
They don't know. He's never met his father.
So we ain't gonna say he is.
But he is a person of color.
And if he hadn't claimed it,
he claims it.
What does he claim? What, like this is gonna
he
be at the bottom of it.
Other.
What does Vin Diesel?
He probably puts other down on his. Listen, we claiming him. We gonna count it.
Are we really?
But just the fact that he's in the movie and he's clearly not white, right? It then forces the rest of the movie to be diverse. You have his girlfriend who's, Latinx.
You're right. It is a very diverse cast.
It's a super diverse movie.
That first Fast and Furious movie didn't make $1 billion. That first Black Panther made $1 billion.
That's true.
Well,
you're right.
What helped with Black Panther 2 was definitely, introducing them early.
Yeah.
He got introduced around Captain America, Iron Man.
Yeah.
Like
Winter Soldier. He got introduced.
Yeah, he got introduced in a really cool way.
Yeah.
And that was probably one of the best introductions Marvel's done on any character. So I'm glad the way that they cared for that character. And on top of that, when it comes like representation for it, when Chadwick unfortunately passed away, I was of the thought that I don't know if an actual actor is bigger than the character,
But he was.
We figured that out.
Yeah.
And we knew that when we went in and we finally saw that movie. But because we've seen like all these other characters be other people, or whatever. But to be who we think is like the first Black superhero, and then to actually portray that character, like be the first Black person be the first person to portray Black Panther, was a really big deal. Mm-hmm. And just the impact of losing him sort of showed how much that character meant. Because you saw that first part of that movie, we didn't have a Black Panther at all. There was no one. I mean, Angela Bassett, Lord have mercy, just man.
She put the team on her.
I really hate I didn't speak to her that day. I saw her in a restaurant, man. I didn't want to bother her, Destiny. I know.
I get it. I totally get it.
But
I would have.
I was like Emily, but that's
excuse me.
I'm like Tina Turner. Let me.
Like, Mom, I'd be like, you raised me.
Yeah, and on top of that, she's played every famous Black mom.
Right.
Katherine Jackson, Biggie's mom, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Who else?
I forgot about that.
Tina Turner. Who else is?
Boys in the Hood. She was a mama in Boys in the Hood.
Yeah. So, but just to see that a Black, like you say, Black movie, like it's definitely one of the movies where, like, it was very unapologetically Black, and that was good to see, and that was obviously good to see. That was surprisingly good to see Marvel sort of let Ryan Coogler run with it.
Yeah.
From the music to the way that it was shot.
Yep.
It was
the aesthetic, the hair.
Yeah, it was. You want to talk about like it was again. I hate saying Black movie because again, that's the only time we say it is when
Yeah.
It's predominantly Black movie, but it was definitely like a movie for the culture and a character for the culture too. So again, I think biggest thing for me is like Halloween and stuff like that, sort of seeing like little black kids dressed up as Black Panther, you know, or now dressing up as Captain America. So here's what I'm gonna throw out there. With us having a what's that, Will?
I think you about to rain on my parade on some stuff, but I'm gonna let you go.
Wait, what?
I think Willie about to talk about my man's over there. I think Willie been holding this one back.
Little Sam slander.
Yeah, is it some Sam slander?
Oh no,
it's all good.
Oh, okay. See,
go ahead. I'm giving it to you. No. Willie, I'm giving it to you now. Go right ahead.
I was going somewhere else with it.
You about to talk about Isaiah?
Don't.
Okay, my bad.
We'll bring it back in.
You talking about the current? You talking about Sam being?
Yeah, being Captain America at the moment, because that last episode of what Captain America and Winter Soldier.
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah. Well, they changed it at like episode the last two episodes. They changed the title, but and he talked about like how, again, we know how America is. And now we're putting a black man into the boots, essentially, and the shield of Captain America, who was the you know, cream of the crop white guy, you know. So and how he sort of feels and how that's going to play out. So how, I guess, important is Sam Wilson at this moment when it comes to representation, and he's sort of, you know, bearing those colors of the flag.
Wow.
Profound questions on our fandom here.
Really go.
It's very important as far as for the culture. And if you watch that series and you saw Sam, he went through things that black people go through all the time. He couldn't get a bank loan. He couldn't get a bank loan. He
saved the world, Willie.
Saved the world.
This man was the first voice Captain America heard on your left.
On your left.
Flew through that portal. And then Captain America saw another black man, Black Panther. Well, he saw two right out the
gate. Back to back. I'm with Sam. I think his suit is a little colorful. But you know,
it's very comic accurate.
Beautiful. It is. But I'm with it. When they gave him the shield, because I won't. At first, I was conflicted because I honestly thought Winter Soldier.
He's killed too many people.
Yeah, you know, it's America. He can redeem it. But once I thought about it, took it all in, I was on the Sam train. So now, how long he'll be Captain America? That's kind of hard to say.
Really, Destiny? You don't think he'll be Captain America for long?
They're not gonna let him be Captain America.
No.
What?
I mean, I think like you said, it means a lot for a black man to carry that shield, to represent America when, you know, for what most of our history here in this country, we weren't considered full citizens, sometimes even full people. And I don't know if I know we haven't gotten fully past that, you know. And so I think it says a lot that they let him become Captain America in a show as opposed to a movie.
Well, he's getting his movie now.
He is.
He's full on Captain. We didn't have to go through him getting. I don't think they.
Yeah, I didn't need
a lot. I think could have to fit a lot in like a 2-hour movie.
I think the mantle is going to change in that movie.
Really?
I think Isaiah Bradley said a mouthful when he was talking to Sam when they had that private conversation.
Yes, sir.
And he said, I don't think a black man, I want to say it the exact way he said, I don't think a black man with self-respect would want to be Captain.
Want to be Captain America.
You know?
Yeah.
Because of how not only how America treated him after being a hero, America has treated us, period. I mean, a lot of us are heroes every day. A lot of us serve in the military. A lot of us are teachers. A lot of us do things behind closed doors that we are heroes to other people. And America treat us like crap. Still to this day. And people don't think about that. Like I said, we just talked about how Sam is a superhero. He has saved the world. And this man couldn't even get a $30,000 loan. A $13,000 loan. We're not talking about a $1 million loan. You know how Brett Favre squandered that money down there. Mississippi. We ain't talking about that. $30,000 is what we talking about, and he couldn't get that.
Yeah. I think
like real life.
That's real, and I think if we're thinking about real life, I think the fandom writ large, I don't think they're gonna have it. I think that's what
I'm saying. I think America, they're gonna have a problem seeing him with that shield, wearing that uniform, because they really wanted the other guy to wear that uniform.
I forgot about that. I forgot about that.
Gotta remember the other.
even though Cap gave the shield to Sam, and like,
he gave the shield to Sam, but Captain, you gotta understand, Steve Rogers is not your typical quote unquote white guy. He don't think like them. Right. He think about good people. This is a good man. He thinks Sam is a good man. He deserved to be Captain America. That's how Steve Rogers thinks. But America don't think like Steve Rogers, and that's why that scientist chose Steve Rogers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
I'm going back to Willie real quick, because he said that there's a possibility of Sam not making it as Captain America.
Well, that's
or is somebody changing?
No, that's my own kind of prediction for what is Captain America World Domination,
New World Order,
New World
NWO.
NWO. I love the name. So I just feel and to piggyback off of what Destiny said, I just don't think he's gonna hold that mantle of Captain America all the way through that movie. Man, I just don't.
We're not all through the phase, whatever.
Definitely
not through the phase.
I'm fairly optimistic, because I didn't think he'd get to this point. Honestly, I thought he was just going to be the Falcon forever, you know. But once he handed that shield over to him, I was like, okay, we're going somewhere with this. And I think the TV show did a good job of highlighting those things that come with that shield.
Yeah.
And I must say
that's going to be pretty good too, to see how he sort of reacts with having how the world reacts with him now actually having it, giving it some time. Rufus, what you got?
I was just gonna say that to me, out of all those shows that Marvel came out with, that's the best one I've seen.
Oh, Destiny didn't like that.
Hey, I know you probably like WandaVision or something else.
Side note, what were you doing? Destiny, what you like? What was it?
What I will say is, I like the show. It's not WandaVision to me is the best one.
Yeah, I knew it.
It's so creative. Oh my god, it was so creative, and it hits. But what I will say is, I could talk about my issues with the show, but my main issue is again with the villains. They were thin. They were paper thin, and two, we never got to explore what was life like for people who were left behind in the snap. What was it like to live without borders? We never envisioned what a world would look like, right? What was their dream for the world that's completely different? I mean, this is a fantasy movie, and we're still really held by the bounds of our realities, and we didn't have to be. This was your chance to let that shine. And what did you do? Instead, when we started to empathize with the villains, they start killing innocent people randomly. They do it every time.
It's kind of like what. Okay, is that not what Ronan did?
Well, here's the thing. I'm on Destiny's side when it comes to, again, this might be a little side note cut out, but Marvel's villains aren't the best. And essentially every first movie, they're fighting a evil version of themselves. Right. Iron Man fought another Iron Man at the end.
Yep.
Black Panther fought Killmonger at the end. It's usually that for that first movie. Then their second movie, I mean, if they get a second movie or whatever, I feel like there's paper thin villains in that too. Your big bads are obviously Thanos. He's the GOAT of all. He's the greatest of all time. And then you have Kane coming along now, but it's all these auxiliary sort of villains within that mean absolutely nothing sometimes at the end of the day.
Right.
So we're gonna win. They're gonna win. Somehow there's no stakes with a few of those villains. That's all. And I agree with Destiny. WandaVision was the best.
But
because the first 4 episodes you had no clue.
You didn't know what was going on.
And that's what made it. Because we all know something about comic books and those characters. When we got before we got to Thanos, we were like, okay, Infinity Stones, Thanos, snap. We knew that was coming. WandaVision, I had no clue what was going on, and I liked being blind to everything. And that was every week. Made sure I was in front of TV that day to watch that show. Captain America and Winter Soldier. I mean, Captain America, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Still tuned in. Great
Sam
show, but Sam and Buggy.
That's what it should have been called. Sam and Buggy.
His mama named Sam. I'm gonna call him Sam.
Yeah,
I'll watch it right now.
I understand. I understand that. Again, that was a little side pocket, a little side mission that we just went on for best.
Can I make one last comment? Did you guys see this again? I don't know if this was a couple years ago, but they did Marvel and they did a hip hop collab where they did iconic Marvel covers, but in the style of an album.
Oh, and I didn't see those.
Yeah, so Captain America, the Black Captain America. This is the first time I even found out there was a Black Captain America. He did an ASAP Rocky cover, and he had the flag draped over him. It's Google it. It's tight. I was like, when I saw, I was like, I want this on my wall. This
I'm gonna take a look at those.
You gotta look that up. It's really good.
Okay, so and I will get to our next up here. I have another question for our illustrious panel. So, rumors a few months ago or so of a Black Superman, right? I think we all heard that. I think Michael B. Jordan's name was passed around, things like that. What do you guys take, again, on taking these characters we know as white and making them Black? But here's a side sort of thing to it. Most of our variations of characters, white variations of characters, have Black variants. Superman there is a Superman, a Black Superman. What's his name? Calvin Ellis.
Calvin Ellis.
Yes. So there is. So the fact. Here's the thing of how do you all feel about that? I think, and I'll just start off personally for me. As long as he's not Clark Kent, because I think that'd be just confusion for everybody. I think we have this character that we haven't. Again, I might be leading into our next topic, but who's out there hasn't gotten an opportunity to sort of say that they're out there. Calvin Ellis is the Black Superman on another world.
Right.
Just circling around, Rufus, kick us off. How do you sort of feel about, you have your top tier sort of superheroes and then having a Black version of those superheroes?
Well, as you know, because you know me, Superman is my favorite DC comic hero. So to find out that there is a Black Superman, and he's the president, come on. I want to see this. But just like we were just talking about Captain America, I don't think America is ready to see a Black Superman.
I don't either. And that's why when
I don't think they're ready to see
it.
In the comic book, they can see it in the comic book. But as far as putting it on TV right now, I think that'll scare people. But be honest with you, if Michael B. Jordan had shown up at the end of Black Adam, would that have been an awesome move? Man, I probably would have did a somersault.
That would have been, just think about that feeling that you just I didn't even think about that.
Right. So, just thinking about, we literally just got finished talking about how we feel about Sam being Captain America and how we think America is going to feel about it once that movie comes out. So if they release, say CW decide to do a Calvin Ellis live action.
Say he just shows up on Smallville or something.
Right. How will they accept that? You know what I'm saying? Because they're going to go back and we talking about money right now. So they're going to go back and they're going to look at the ratings. They're going to be like, okay, well, this is how much it generated.
But see, if you tell me that this is another variant of, again, we're in variant season essentially in Marvel. Everybody has a doppelganger, another variant of themselves. So I think people are more accepting to that. Oh, there's more than one universe, or there's more than one Earth at this moment. I would hope you could look at that. Again, I don't know a lot about Calvin Ellis. I'm ashamed to say I don't. But the fact that he's a Superman president.
I don't know a lot about the
identity as president.
So
I need to read this.
But what's his name?
Mr. Terrific.
Mr. Terrific.
Our favorite.
I mean, I know that guy, but Mr. Terrific. I mean, I was reading up on him. Like, I didn't know he was the third smartest person in the world. I was like, really?
So yeah. So okay. So again, Destiny, Willie. I know you. We'll wrap up pretty soon. But Willie, what's your sort of thought on those? I guess.
I think
level. Yeah, go ahead.
I think the time is now. I think it's here. Whether we want to see it or not, I think it's gonna come out. It's gonna be portrayed in some type of way. But I think if they do it, kind of like how we were saying, it can't be your Clark Kent. It can't be what's already there.
It can't be a Bruce Wayne
No, it can't be a Bruce Wayne. It's got to be. It's gonna be a part of the culture. So he's got to represent it in his own type of way. Mm-hmm. You know. So I think you have to flip the character. You can present him, but you got to present him in the right way.
Destiny?
I agree. I was going to say the same thing. It should be informed by their history and our, moving through the world as a Black man in Kansas is going to be totally different. Right? You're not going to be Clark Kent, Mr. Boy Scout,
Yeah, exactly. So I don't even know like his backstory or anything too. So that might be a good read or sort of a little article to look into, because I remember the name and I remember that it was another Superman or another Earth or whatever, but president.
And they should be doing.
He's not the only Black Superman. Just in case y'all didn't know, it's been like 5 or 6 of them.
Oh wow.
Well, still, if we're gonna talk about that one,
it's been a few Black Supermen. So I'm just saying.
That's a steal.
But I'll just say too, like, you should, and I think what their goals and what they do should also be different, right?
Yes.
Like, yes, we care about saving the world, but like I said, like, but we also have real life things like getting bank loans and things, and I'm like, everything doesn't have to be about the struggle, but the struggle is real and exists. And if these people exist in our universe, they should be actively trying to change those systems and structures, not just like punching whatever generic alien comes out of the sky.
And I think him
I agree.
Being the president, I think that's him actually trying to change the world and no one knowing he's Superman.
I like that.
Because on his planet, he's the president.
I'd watch that. I would. That sounds like a good TV show, actually.
It does, with him trying to be a Black president, and then the people that they probably love the most. The people might love Superman and hate him as a president, or vice versa.
Or vice versa. I can see
or hate them both. Or hate them both.
You gotta keep these ideas in.
We gotta pitch it. We gonna save that for ourselves.
We gotta write the proposal out. Let's get that on TV.
So